Hello, everyone. This is C. Wesley Morgan, candidate for the United States Senate, running against Mitch McConnell in the June 23rd primary. Excuse me a second, my phone's on. Running for the Republican nomination for the United States Senate in the June 23rd, 2020 primary. You know, Mitch McConnell he's definitely a part of the deep state, and he and the Republican Party of Kentucky have done everything they can to try to roadblock our campaign. Over the last year, I announced on May the 16th, 2019, by filing with the Federal Election Commission that I would be running for this seat. I'd actually said something about it on the Matt Jones show previous to that. But let me tell you some of the things that's happened in this campaign that, well, it's really unbelievable. The first thing is, how do you have such control over the mainstream media that we have absolutely been ignored in all of the mainstream media for an entire year? Who has that kind of power? Well, obviously Mitch McConnell's got it. And what about the blocking and shadow banning on Facebook and blocking our videos and blocking our messages and the social media such as Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and so forth, not really broadcasting their messages out? How do you get that kind of power? There's only one answer. It's deep state power. McConnell's a 36-year United States Senator. He is, I believe, 79 years old. You know, I saw a Republican advertisement the other day talking about Nancy Pelosi being 78 years old. What's the difference? You know, Hillary Clinton in the 2016 primaries basically rigged the election against Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not a Bernie Sanders supporter, but how is it any different of Hillary Clinton rigging a primary election against Bernie Sanders than it is Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party of Kentucky rigging a primary for the United States Senate in Kentucky? How's that any different? You know, not only did he block in the mainstream media and the social media, but there was a great number of counties throughout Kentucky that would not even allow me to speak, allow me to come before their rank and file members of the Republican Party in those counties and present my case. When did censorship become so great in the state of Kentucky that you cannot even hear the opposing view? And that's what Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party of Kentucky have done. I have, I'll give you an example. The chairman of the Scott County Republican Party, I've known her for probably 15 years. And I could not get her to let me speak to the Georgetown or Scott County GOP. And the reason why is because they didn't want the rank and file to hear my message, because they know that I have researched Mitch McConnell's voting record, and they know that that voting record will get Mitch McConnell beat. Now, you know, some of the things that the Republican Party did, we actually had the Republican Party threaten a member of the Kentucky Federation of Republican Women in a western part of Kentucky, threatened to remove her and her organization from the Republican Party because they invited me to speak to them. Again, censorship. When did it come to the point that you're not even allowed to hear what the opposing party has to say. We don't want rigged elections. We don't want hand-picked elite candidates. Now, if that's what you choose after hearing both sides of the issue, then that's your prerogative. Your prerogative is to vote for whoever you want to vote for. But if they do not have the right to prevent you from hearing both sides of the issue, that's when it really, really gets bad. That's because we're headed for a totalitarian type government if we don't stop this. The rules of the Republican Party of Kentucky is they're supposed to not take a side in a primary. Well, that is not the case by any stretch of the imagination. Not in this race it hasn't been. It's just not right. You know, not only did Mitch block me in the mainstream media and he's blocked me on social media, he's been allowed by his own bills that he's passed, he's been allowed to raise $324,000 for his Republican senatorial reelection bid from one individual, and my limit is $2,800 from one individual. Now think about that for a moment. Mitch McConnell is allowed to get a donation of $324,000 for his Republican senatorial reelection committee that is based solely upon reelecting incumbents. But I'm limited to $2,800. Is that a joke or is that a joke? But he needs that money so he can fill up the airways and try to convince you why he deserves a 7th term in the United States Senate. I voted for Mitch McConnell for every single time that he ran, with one exception. I voted for Matt Bevin in 2014. Not again. Never again will I vote for him. Ever. I won't vote for the Democrat, but I cannot vote for Mitch McConnell because I have researched his voting record and he has consistently undermined our constitutional rights. We cannot have that. We will not have a country left. We will not have a constitutional republic if it continues on the path that it's on. Now, I'll be 70 years old in July. So, no matter what happens, I'll probably glide on out. But I hate it tremendously for my kids and for the good people of Kentucky. And I have traveled from one end of this country, this state, to the other, from Pike County all the way to Fulton County, and stopped at the edge of the Mississippi River. We have put out over 500 4x8 signs in practically every county in this state. There was a few we could not get to just because of time. But for the most part, there are signs in every single county in this state with very little exception. I think maybe 4. And I'd give anything to get in those 4, but I don't have any signs left because we used all 500 of them. So what does Mitch do? Mitch, the Republican Party of Kentucky, and their cronies have been out trying to tear down my signs. He can raise all the money he wants to raise compared to nothing for me. He can put all the advertisements he wants on social media and stuff, but he wants to block mine. He puts out the word to all of his media cronies not to say my name in the media. I mean, let's look at the rally where they hung the effigy of Governor Beshear. I was there. I spoke. I didn't participate in the effigy. But did you notice that not one news media that I saw mentioned that we were there? Not one. Now, they jumped on my pastor, and they drug him through the mud, but not one news media would mention that I was there because they didn't want you to know that I was running. This is how bad this is. So he has all the money he wants to do all the advertising he wants to, and then he wants to shut us down. Just recently, as of today, we're getting hundreds of requests for information and for newsletter. And all of a sudden, our Gmail account's blocked. If your email address is a Gmail address, I try to send you the information that you want, but it won't go through. And it just happened 2 days ago, just out of blue air, thin blue air. We can't even send an email out if it's a Gmail account. Of course, that's Google. And who runs Google? We all know what Google is. It's deep state. So you can only surmise from that McConnell's part of the deep state, because why are they protecting him? The truth of the matter is the mainstream media in Kentucky, the leftists, and you know who they are, the Courier-Journal, Election Herald Leader, most of the TV stations, they want Amy McGrath. They're okay with Mitch if he wins again, but they want Amy McGrath. But God forbid if you elect a person who will stand on the principles of the Constitution of the United States and a man who believes in God in this country. They don't want that under any cost. And that's the reason why they're quiet. That's the reason why they don't mention me, because they figure that the best thing to do is make sure the people of this state don't have no idea that I'm running. Well, I'm C. Wesley Morgan, running for United States Senate in a Republican primary. My name on the ballot is C. Wesley Morgan, and I believe I've seen it on several different places, but it's either above Mitch McConnell's name or below Mitch McConnell's name. When you go to the polls and you look, or when you get your ballot, you'll see my name right next to Mitch McConnell, C. Wesley Morgan. I'm sure that probably was intentional on the previous Secretary of State. It certainly would not be intentional on the current Secretary of State. So, I want you all just to know this, so you know what I have been through for 1 solid year trying to run against a member of the deep state. Don't be fooled by Mitch McConnell again. He did everything he could do to stop Donald Trump from becoming president of the United States. He only started supporting the president when it came time to him to run for re-election. Mitch McConnell does not deserve to be your senator. You need to vote them all out. They have done nothing but sit and rob you year after year, and rob me too. Up to 45% tax out of your check. Think about that for a moment. While these fat cats lay back and go have their big parties in Washington, D.C., has exclusive, everything they want exclusive. Rolls-Royce healthcare, Rolls-Royce retirements, Rolls-Royce vacations. And most of the vacations are taken to other countries and stuff under fact-finding missions. You know what? And if they do it under fact-finding missions, that means that you paid for it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a good old country boy from Hyden, Kentucky. I never intended to be I'm not a politician, never intended to ever run for office in my life. Somebody's got to stand up for what's right in the Constitution of the United States, and I'm telling you that I'm here today to do that. We already get notifications of people that I never even expected to vote for me who are voting for me. Again, I'm Wesley Morgan, running for United States Senate. I'm going to be running a lot of videos between now and Election Day. So I wanted to start with this one. And thank you very much for joining me today. And I will have more videos coming your way, hopefully more today, at least 2 or 3 more. And I'm going to address every issue that I possibly can. But I wanted you to know, if you see those people out there tearing my signs down, you know who it is. Now, if it's a highway department or city or county or something like that, they'll take the sign. They'll take the sign and they'll call you and they'll say, we have your sign, we took it, and you can come and get it. But if it's just torn off, and thrown down, or it's cut up, that's our opposition doing that. Because they don't want you to know that somebody is running against Mitch McConnell. Now, he acts like he's already won this race. He's been acting like it forever. He's been acting like he's running against Amy McGrath. But now he's on Facebook and advertisements telling you that he needs your vote in the primary. Well, if he already had it won, then why does he need to vote in the primary? He's already got it won. But he doesn't, and he knows it, because he knows that you are fed up with him. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it, and I will be coming more videos your way today. Thank you.